got one more.
One more.
After Josh. Can you hear us? Yes. Yes, he's coming on.
Josh, you know.
Bring him on.
I know you got United bridges. I know you got friends at United. Come on. I want to hear it, man. What are you telling me, Josh? I know you got boys that are Man U fans.
What are you telling me, mate? What's going on,
listen. Spurs right now. That game.
We're back.
So many people predicted that we're going to lose. He said, we're back. He said,
we're back, baby. We're back, man. We're back. We used to have the back against the walls, and now we're back, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're back, man. For now, man. Enjoy it, Tottenham fans. It's Saturday night. We've beaten the scum after 5 home games. We've beaten them. Enjoy this performance, man. We deserved it. We played amazing football. Yes, the first half was a bit average, but that was champagne in the second half, man. I'm gonna go and have champagne tonight, man. Just off the back of that performance, man. We were brilliant.
Jeez.
So what stood out for you the most today? Whose performances stood out and you went, yes, this is Spurs for me?
Basuma's just taken the piss. He's taking the piss. He's taking the piss. I don't want to say. He's taking the piss, mate. He's taking the piss at the moment. That guy is making, honestly, he's just terrorizing, every opponent at the moment. Obviously he's only been 2 games in, but no one can handle him. They can't get the ball off him. His ball carrying is reminding me of Musa Dembele. His progressive passing, his running back, his tackling. Do you know what? He should be vice captain. He's got a shout for vice captain at the moment, the way he's leading with example. So that's a future leader we've got at the moment there with Basuma, and the big clubs are going to be watching this, sniffing, the Real Madrids of the world. Because that's the kind of performance he's putting in. I'll tell you what, if he does that in the Champions League, obviously, thank God for us, we're not in it this year. But if he's to do that in the Champions League, he's gonna create massive attention. But for now, let's enjoy Basuma, man, because last season Basuma he just looked not happy. He just wasn't interested. I don't think under Conte, he wasn't a happy player. So God knows what that says about Conte. On the basis that only a few months ago the same player, couldn't get in the first 11. So what does that say about Ryan Mason and Conte and the old management? It's not good. But yeah, for us, great, man. I mean, look, Kulusevski put a shift in down the right. The only worry is when Kulusevski gets down the right, he needs to use his right foot and whip that ball in. He likes to cut back. We've talked about this a lot. He likes to shift it pull it back and then whip it in, which is great. That's a weapon. Use that, but he needs to start using his right foot a bit more, swinging that ball in. And the same with Sonny as well. When he goes down the left, he sometimes cuts back, and that breaks down the move. It allows the opposition to get their players back. So I want Sonny to just bomb it down the left and whip it in. But I don't know if Sonny's that player, to be honest, lads. He's not really going to do that. I think Solomon's probably going to do that, or Perisic. But for me, Sonny needs to do that a bit more down the left.
Just a quick one, and I'll let you come in after. But we've seen a few players come in now for the 2 games. We've seen your skips. Obviously, Sarr started today. Solomon got a run out today as well. Perisic. We've seen quite a few players come in. We haven't seen Lesotho yet. Do we need to give him a chance? Do we need to give him a go at some point? Would you feature him?
I think the preseason he had was brilliant. There was some good chances he created in those preseason games. The boy's got quality. Has he got the ability to get in the first 11 as it stands? That first 11 picks itself for the next game. You can argue Emerson maybe coming in as a right back. Udogie picks himself. The 2 centre backs pick themselves. Gio needs to ask himself, does he want to be a part of a Tottenham team that he might not play in? And if he's happy to do that, I keep him. But this comes down to character. And I think Ange will have to have that conversation. He's probably had it with him. Look, if you're going to be here, you're not going to be a first 11 player. So don't kick off. I don't want bad apples. I want everyone pulling in that one direction. So if he's happy to be a sub on and off, then I would keep him. But if he wants to play first team football, then we don't want a bad apple, because there's been question marks over his attitude. And I'd rather get that 30, 40 mil or whatever he's worth in today's market and invest it in another player or another position. But it's whether he wants to be a bench player. If he's happy to be on the bench, I'll keep him, because I think he's got quality to come on. And when we get to that Christmas period where there's a lot of games in the cup competitions, when Maddison starts to tire, if Madders gets an injury, we're going to get injuries, man. That's part and parcel of football. Every team gets injuries. So we have to think of a Tottenham Hotspur that's injured and then look at the bench. And the likes of Gio would be great for me to come off the bench.
What did you make of Vicario today? There's been a lot of questions asked about him, but what did you make of his performance?
A good performance. I'll give him a 7.5. I think Neville on commentary on Sky was saying he's flapping his legs around, going for the photo finish, making a meal of it. But I mean, look, man, every time he was called into question today, he answered. You know, his distribution was okay. And we saw a couple of times when Onana just, with a couple of them kicks, picked out his man. I think on the left, I don't know if it was Rashford. I'd love to see a bit more of that from Vicario, a bit more better distribution. But you know what? He's young, he's new, you know, he's been thrown in as a number one keeper. Listen, most keepers, they go to a keeper of his age, becomes a number two, then a number one. He's just been thrown into a big club, you know, in front of 60K. And I think he's handled himself well. You know, he's shouting at players. I'm seeing leadership. Again, another future leader there, possibly. And, you know, Buffon was speaking highly of him in Italy. A lot of players have been speaking highly of him. Not in the EPL, but abroad in Italy. So I think today he did himself credit. Against Brentford, he had an okay game, a couple of dodgy moments. But this game today, I think he'll be going home today feeling super confident, because confidence is massive for a goalkeeper. We've seen the best keepers in the world fumble things because of confidence. It's one of them positions which is unique to any other position on the pitch, because it's all about control and kind of like, you know, being that leader. You need your keeper to be a leader. That's the only thing now. Can he step it up and consistently, you know, just hold that position and look big? Because he looks small, he looks young, he looks like a teenager, and he's not a far off one. But he needs to just make that position his, you know. He needs to boss that. And listen, he hasn't got that much competition, has he, chaps, really? You know what I mean? It's not like he's under pressure.
That's true.
But we need to see him grow, man. We need to see him grow character as well. But look, he one of them saves, was it Casemiro's header? That would have been, that was a good save, man. I mean, look, in the Premier League, most keepers should be saving that because it's kind of in front of you, right? It's more or less your space. But he still had to adjust his feet and quickly tip that over the bar, you know? So if that had gone in, people would have gone, great header, Casemiro. So I think he had a great game. I think everyone, you know, there weren't really any poor performances, were there? I mean, I think Mickey in the beginning struggled with Rashford. You know, Mickey was having a bit of a tough time in that first 20 minutes and Rashford was getting the better of him. And that's the other point is Tottenham we play this high line, high attacking football, brilliant to watch. When we lose the ball, everyone runs back. It's like everyone wants to help out their mates at the moment. That's the strategy, isn't it? If we lose it, it's not down to the player that lost it. It's not an individual error. We all collectively win the ball back. And I like that, right? Because that's how the Man Cities of this world and, you know, the prime Barcelonas and, you know, certain teams do that. You know, they huddle up together when they lose the ball. And we're doing that at the moment, which is brilliant. But there are going to be times this season where Rashford times is, you know, in the next few weeks, that striker's going to time that run perfectly and score. Casemiro's got to score. We're going to get that penalty go against us because it hit a defender's hand. You know, Bruno's going to get his header on target. So we got lucky today as well. Let's not get twisted. Let's not get carried away. We could have been a couple of goals down at half-time as well. And I think that's the only slight, if there is a negative in today's performance, is that we got lucky in moments.
Josh, you mentioned Emerson Royal earlier, talking about, you know, him maybe coming in and whatnot. What did you make of Porro's performance?
Porro messed up a couple of times with the out ball. If you're going to give an out ball to any player but Bissouma and Maddison, you're probably asking for problems against a high pressing team, especially when you've got quick attackers like Rashford and Anthony coming in. So Porro at times looked wobbly, and Ange has to look at this out ball. If he's not going to Bissouma or Madders, who's it going to? And I don't blame Porro because that's not his game. He's not an on-the-turn man. He's not a back-to-goal, facing the goal, give me the ball, let me turn and take my man. He'd go down the wing. He's a winger. That's all he's been. So if he's not that kind of player, we should be giving him the ball in that kind of position where he doesn't have the ability to do that. So I'm not going to be hard on him for losing the ball. But otherwise, he was okay. I mean, I don't think Man United were great, but I think against better opposition, he'll get found out going backwards.
Do you think that's the reason why the first 10 to 15 minutes we kind of stuttered a bit, like getting out of our half? Like the first 10 minutes, United were all over us. They had the most amount of chances on target, off target. XG was up. They just looked dangerous all in all. But when we kind of started from the back, we looked a bit lethargic. We looked a bit off it. It wasn't kind of getting to Maddison, like you were saying. It wasn't getting to Bissouma. I see Maddison dropping in a little bit just to find the ball because the ball wasn't finding him at all. So is that something?
I think the players. I think there's a lot of pressure on these players and Ange, and there's a lot of anxiety, and I think that transfers over sometimes. I think the players didn't show their confidence, their swagger until they got used to the game, and I think Ange said it himself. We were second guessing ourselves in that first half. You boys haven't obviously seen the Sky interviews, but they asked him the same question you've asked me. Yeah, so they asked, you should send your CV to Sky right now, bro. You're on it, man. You're on the right path. But they said to him, what happened in that first half? What was it? And he said, look, the players weren't confident. They weren't playing with what I'd instructed them to do. They were second guessing themselves. So, the occasion was huge. Man United at home. Let's be honest, Man United's a big fixture wherever they play. And, 5:30 Saturday night, everyone watched this game. Everyone watched this game, right? This is the big game of the day. So I think the players average age. What's the average age? Take away Perisic and Son. We're talking 20, 24, 21, 22. I don't know what it is, right? 23. Yeah. These boys have been put together like we're going on some night out, and everyone's just put everyone together and said, right, let's just go and have a good time. And it's like, well, what's going to happen tonight? I don't know. But let's just stick together, back each other, and get your A game out. And it turned out in the end okay. But that first 25 minutes showed these players are still struggling with confidence a little bit. Listen, half these players have been drilled the Conte, Jose, Nuno way. Yeah, so take that into consideration, man. They've been going to a different school. We put them in a new school now to learn new ways and new things and to behave differently. And we've lost our captain, our leader, and another captain in Kane and Hugo, right? Yeah. Leadership's gone. It's a whole change. It's a whole change from pretty much top to bottom. If you look at it, the dressing room has changed in terms of back room, front room, plus personnel, leaders. And we just went out and did that in the second half. So that's why everyone's smiling, because this is more than just 3 points, isn't it? This feels like a moment and a stepping stone to now say we're ready to make a launch and go on a little run and around Christmas be around that top 4 spot. Because if we had got beaten today, all the questions would have been, Ange hasn't been in the Premier League, players are too young, inexperienced, no Kane, no Hugo. All of them knives would have been out right now. They were sharpened already. They were just ready to go. But them boys, they played like a group of mates backing each other. And that first half is the only worry. The occasion, the hesitancy, second guessing themselves, lack of confidence. But that second half, I'd rather win a second half and the game than win the first half and win the game, because you leave with a high. Watch the videos on Twitter right now. I've seen a couple. Big up not Chris Cowlin, Ali Gold for putting out everyone go and watch Ali Gold's video of when the Spurs players come off the pitch. He's sitting in the press conference bit and he recorded 11 or 12 minutes of every player coming back down the tunnel. And look at the reactions in the faces of every player. They're high-fiving. Even the subs are involved. It's like a party.
And that's the key, isn't it? Getting the subs involved as well. Is it get everyone on the same hymn sheet, and then you've got a team. Yes,
100%. Listen, we've got rid of a couple of egos. Maybe Tangai's left, right? Obviously, Longley we'll see with the loan, Tanganga with the loan, Hugo obviously, Eric Dyer, Sanchez is there. There's a few players. I think what Ange is doing is getting rid of the egos as well. He said himself, actually, having a great player who's not on board, he's not for me. I don't care how skillful he is. I don't care how good he is. If he's not on board, he's out. And I think that's brilliant, man. Because you know what? There's a tendency sometimes. Football's a results-based business. Don't ever let anyone tell you it's not. Because that's why good managers get sacked in the end, because it's results that count. But Ange is not letting any of these players, regardless of skill, by the looks of it, he's not letting any of these players be a part of this project. So Tottenham fans, we might suffer with results. We might suffer a little bit with counter-attacks and the Rashfords and Brunos and Casemiros putting the ball away. But I'd rather we suffer now and be putting teams away come sort of Christmas. And that is the legacy and the future that we want at this club. We don't want to be a counter-attacking team all the time. We don't want to be a low block team all the time. Yes, in the Champions League, you might do a low block to grind out a 1-0. Of course, you might do that against Man City, like you're going to get ripped. But 85% of the time, Spurs, the club, the stature, and now the squad we're building, and hopefully more backing from the top, we should be up there playing the football that the Scum play, Man City play, Liverpool's Klopp played. That's where we should be at, man. And finally, we can see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Because 12 months ago, there was no light, man. It was dark and it was dead.
Yep. Any last words, Josh, before we let you go?
Nah, everyone watched the highlights of you two celebrating the goals, man. I saw the first one. That death took a pounding, man. I don't know how many kilos. Man, that laptop was bouncing around. Them walls were shaking. Honestly, man, I don't know. I've been in that studio, man. It must be reinforced when you boys come in, man. I'm telling you, it must be.
Do you know what? I think it was Saar scoring, and it just literally out of all the people that could have scored. If it was him or Basuma, I think they could. I think I was nearly
almost put my top off. It was mad.
I love it. The energy, man. It's all about the energy. But I'm sharing your joy because I watched it on my own today, actually, like completely on my own. And it was like I wanted to watch it on my own because it was such an important moment to win today. Like, it was one of them ones where you wanted to study the game rather than just have a few beers and watch it. And I had you lot on and I do this most games. I had you lot on commentary, and then I had Sky on mute. And when we scored that goal, you got me out my sofa. So when we scored, I was like, okay, 1-0. I want 3. I don't want 1. I don't even want 2. But you got me out, mate. I was punching. Like I was like, yeah, come on, let's have it. And then obviously got back down again, back to normal. But yeah, man, big up you two, man. Wicked pair, wicked combination. And hopefully Ben and Sim sign you up for some future games, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. So big up everyone, like the channel, subscribe, join. I don't know what it is, a £5 a month. Anyone who's not spending a £5 a month on this channel, you're mad, you're crazy. Go in the community section, hit the link, join it. These boys, they'll promote it. You might think, yeah, they're promoting it because their channel. Well, I'm telling you as a subscriber and just an unbiased view, spend the money, get your views on, and support the channel, man. Big up. We Are Tottenham TV, Ben, Sim, and everyone else.
Couldn't say better myself.
All right, man. And big up your channels, man. Whatever they are, I've forgotten the name.
Southview Coys. Southview.
Oh, big up my channel, man. I'm forgetting my own channel, man.
Spurs Debate TV, people.
Spurs Debate TV, man. Come on, guys. Don't forget me in the process, man. Spurs Debate TV. Come on, lads. Come on. Wicked. 3 points. Top 4, baby. Let's go. Next up, I think we've got Bournemouth away. Bash them up. I think we've got a little easy run coming now, we lads. We've got a few nice fixtures.
Yeah.
There's no easy game in the Premiership. I'll just add that.
I love it.
Bournemouth, Fulham, Burnley, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Come on. That's 12 points there, mate. What are you on about, mate? Come on, man. That's 12 points, man.
I love it. I'm for it.
It's your back. That's a straight 2-year ban on the license, mate. That's 12 points, man. Let's get them. Come on.
I love it. Talk your shit. Let's go.
All right, lads. Big up. Enjoy your night.
Big up. See you later, Josh. Brilliant. So yes, match reaction done.
That was a great last call.
Yeah, great last call. Yeah, better than Ben. Are we allowed to say that?
Was it trouble as always?